A wondrous day ahead. We are the Group 2, and welcome to the whole sphere of discussion of the whole chronicle of the Chapter 2 entitled Entrepreneurship in the Market Economy. But first and foremost, allow me to present to you guys the enthusiasts of this presentation. Starting off with myself, of course, I am Urian Gulchano. We have Hafsa Zachariah, we have John Vincent Garmes, and also the last but not the least, we have Felix Otero. Proceeding to the chapter outline that needs to be discussed and addressed through the whole traversion of this chapter, we will be discussing the entrepreneurs satisfy needs and wants, followed by the how economic decisions are made, and also what affects the price. Now, let's proceed to the one and only Scott Smigler. Scott Smigler, he is an exclusive concepts founder and president, balanced dual roles as a student and an entrepreneur through high school and college. Of course, his company provides professional web design and online marketing solutions by helping businesses design websites that stand out when someone uses a search engine. Of course, he is a sufficient, an efficacious entrepreneur while a student. So, throughout all of these years traversed by him, here are some of the most important lessons that Scott has learned. We have the perseverance, we have the mentorship, we have the communication, capitalization, and also the marketing itself. And perseverance, it just showcases that no matter how big those dreams are, of course, challenges, hardships, and obstacles are always been inevitable. It's always been there. You cannot abstract, traversing a hardship, a challenge that would supposed to you know, compact your emotions in a very heavy way. So, dreaming is not easy, though it's a freedom of us to have simultaneous concomitant dreams, but it's always not been easy. So you must have to be organized, you must have to be focused, and that advocates what does perseverance means in sort of the lesson that he has just traversed in his journey. Also the mentorship, it's very important. It's very imperative to have a mentor because it will help you, it'll guide you through through the clockwork of the reality and also to the success that you're dealing with. Also the communication. Ito, gaya na lang ako, I'm a marketing student. It's very important for us marketers na we are eloquent, we have the authority to speak. Kasi how can we persuade someone? How can we market someone to buy, to purchase, or to compensate the products or like the services that we are offering to the crowd or like we are offering to the economy if we don't know how to speak, if we don't know how to deliver, to persuade them, to communicate with them heart to heart. So that's like the essence of the communication. It's not just like through spitting words, through spitting conversations. It must be delivered. It must be devoured. So that's what the power of communication holds from within. So we have the capitalization. We have to be prepared for everything to be more expensive than what you think and plan for unanticipated expenses. Of course, monetary support is very, it's very crucial. Hindi nawawala sa kahit na anong kilos na ginagawa natin, especially na nasa loob pa tayo ng business industry, yung monetary support. So we have to consider capitalization, capital expenses with this. Pag sinabi kasi natin capital, we are just painted sa mga utak natin na it's all about the monetary support, it's all about the cash, it's all about the bills, wherein in fact we also should consider assets and other things that we could offer costs from, that boulders from within. And of course, your marketing. Everyone is a potential customer or client. So, everyone is a potential customer or client. That's a very powerful phrase or like a very powerful sentence itself. It's very short, but it speaks so much from it. So, with that, lahat pwede natin maging customer, pwede natin maging kliyente or like maging client. It's up for us marketers how should we market them to be our consumer, to be our client, for them to compensate, for them to purchase. So work to acquire new relationships while continuing to build existing ones. That's why it's very important na yung communication na sinasabi ko kanina, we have to be connected with it. We need to be compacted and crumpled with it for us to be an efficacious marketer. Notice how these five um, lessons and values are very important and very interrelated to each other, and that's because that made Scott one of the one of the most successful entrepreneurs out there. Kasi itong lima na to, he just you know he just very he advocates it so much. Talagang nagamit niya, gi-correlate niya ang values na ito sa sarili niya, and that's what makes him stand out. I think we have to proceed to the entrepreneur satisfy needs and want. The first agenda um, of this whole discussion. So we are going to discuss the needs and wants here. First, we have to tackle the needs. Ano ba yung needs? Of course, yung kailangan ng isang tao para mabuhay. Your needs are those things that you must have in order to survive. Needs includes foods, basic clothing, and a place to live. How about naman yung wants? Conversely, your wants are those things that you think you must have in order to be satisfied. It wants add to comfort and pleasure to your life and also include things like CDs, yung mga demands mo sa life that what wants advocates or like what wants screams out of its context. So, Abraham Maslow. Sino si Abraham Maslow? So, he was a psychologist who developed a theory on the hierarchy of needs. Yung hierarchy of needs, meron niyang lima eh. It was implemented and developed by Abraham Maslow. So, this one, we have the physiological, we have the security, we have the social, we have the esteem, and also the self-actualization. Sa physiological, ito yung pinaka-importante. Ito yung pinaka-nauuna sa hierarchy of needs pyramid. Kasi ito yung pinakakailangan talaga ng tao para mabuhay. Of course, nobody could survive without the presence of food, without sleeping, without water, without shelter, air, and other important stuff. So it's very pivotal for us to live. Yan yung physiological and yan yung pinaka-importante kaya siya nasa una. Next is yung security. That includes the physical safety and economic security. It should be provided by the government. Next is yung social. Of course, hindi naman pwede na wala tayong social life. So we must have friends. We have to consider affection. We have to consider experiencing love and belongingness to, to have the social life. It's one of our guilty pleasures. Of course, the esteem, yung respeto and recognition natin sa sarili natin. We also have to respect ourselves in order for us to be more confident. In order for us to be more, purposeful in life. And with that, kapag narespeto natin ang sarili natin, kapag natutunan natin respetuhin ang sarili natin at tamang disiplina, we could have a self-actualization to realize what's our worth, what's our purpose, why we are living, what's these hidden potentials of us are trying to scream out of our lungs. So we have to actualize it. And I think that what make Abraham Maslow stand out of all of these psychologists kasi he identified the hierarchy of needs. So next, we have the different type of wants, which is the economic wants and non-economic wants. Sa economic wants, ito yung mga desire natin for material goods. Ito yung mga clothing, ito yung mga foods, shelters, economic wants. Yung non-economic wants, it makes it antithetical because people also have non-economic wants or desire for non-material things. Yung mga non-material things na yon, yan yung mga fresh air, exercise, friendship, and happiness. Siyempre, kung yung economic wants, it focuses more on like the materials or like the, yung mga things na mahawakan or like tangible. Doon naman sa non-economic wants, yun yung mga intangible wants. Yun yung mga non-economic wants, yung mga desire for like non-material things. That includes, yung sinabi ko nga kanina, yung fresh air, exercise, friendship, and happiness, and so on. Now, we are proceeding to the economic resources. Economic resources are the means through which goods and services are produced. Ito yung mga resources. From the word itself, resources. Saan ba nanggagaling yung mga goods? Yung mga products na kinakain natin, yung mga products na ginagamit natin, or yung mga services um, na pakinabangan natin. Galing yung lahat sa economic resources. So, we have the goods and services. Tandaan natin pag goods, products. Pag services, services yan siya. So, pag ang goods, it tackles about kung ano yung mga kailangan ng tao. Ito ay pwedeng mabili kasi nga gamit ito. Products ito, pwede itong makain, pwede itong mahawakan, pwede itong magamit. Ang services, ito yung mga activities. Ito yung mga na papakinabangan natin through actions such as yung hairstyling, um, yung sa hospital, that's a service. That's a service business. Um, a massage, and many more others. Yan po ang pinagkaiba ng goods and services sa larangan ng business industry. Now, let's proceed po sa factors of production. Of course, in order for us to build and deliver such a proficient and very useful goods and services, we need to consider the economic resources and its types. Of course, we have the natural resources, the human resources, and the capital resources. Sa natural resources, from the word itself natural, ito yung resources na kung saan very raw pa, yung mga raw materials na pinanggagalingan ng ating mga products or mga goods. Yung mga manufactured items, ito yung, dito sila nanggaling sa natural resources. Of course, yan yung mga very raw materials na pinanggalingan nila. And how are these materials made, or how these materials can be transferred or like evolved into another product. Of course, that's where the human resources are coming. Kasi dito papasok ang human resources. Sino ba ang gagawa or mag-establish ng mga products out of these raw materials that we have coming from the natural resources? So, syempre, dito magpasok sa human resources, yung pag-establish mismo ng product, pag-manufacture ng product, pag-innovate ng product out of these numbers of raw materials coming from the natural resources. And now, meron tayong tinatawag na capital resources. Of course, the capital resources talk about the monetary support, the capital, the investment, yung panggagamitan ng investment, of course, the assets. Yung mga assets na involved dito, kasali yan sa capital investment. Yan yung assets kasi hindi lang siya monetary. It also includes yung building, yung furnitures, yung machines na kakailanganin for the manufacturing process, and other stuff na talagang imperative sa cycle or sa operational system na meron ang isang product na, you know, ginagawa in order for us to deliver proficiently. Now let's proceed sa role of entrepreneurs in the US economy, which we have the three: the supply and demand, the capital and job creation, and the change agents. For the supply and demand, as business owners, entrepreneurs play an important role in supplying goods and services to meet the demands of the customers. Of course, we have to be very diligent. We have to be very clever in, using our supplies, kasi hindi naman unlimited ang supply. Of course, this is limited kasi this these supplies are coming from the resources, which is the natural resources. And if naabuso natin ang alikasan or ang environment, of course, natural resources would be limited, and it'll always be inevitable kasi hindi talaga perfect, or nothing would scream impeccability inside this world. So we have to really take care of this for us to deliver, for us to consume more, to produce more products as well as services that needs these accordance of, resources. Next is the capital investment and job creation. In order to start business or businesses, entrepreneurs need money to finance their businesses, or sometimes they will use their own money. Of course, hindi naman talaga tayo makakapag-formulate ng sarili natin business or like sarili nating organization if we don't have the money or if we don't have the cash itself. Sometimes, dito na rin pumapasok yung pag-credit sa bank just for us to formulate, just for us to build an empire. Kasi hindi tayo makakapagpatayo ng sarili natin business if we don't have the money, if we don't have the support of the, of the cash. Kasi saan ba nanggagaling lahat ng capital resources na meron tayo, such as yung assets na meron yung isang company or yung isang business? Kahit yung mga simple or small businesses, kinakailangan talaga ng money, ng capital for us to build it. And wala namang problema if we tend to credit sa mga banks as long as we are obligated to pay everything na kailangan nating bayaran in accordance to the contract that we just signed. Kasi may contract yan para mabayaran mo yung utang mo sa bank. Next is yung change agents. Of course, many entrepreneurs create products that change the way people live and conduct business. Sa change agents, yung entrepreneurs, one of their visions is hindi lang para magyaman. Hindi lang to build the empire just for themselves. Of course, yun ang pinaka-pivotal na reason. Yun ang pinaka, key factor, focal matter kung ba't tayo nagtatayo ng business para yumaman. Tayo mga business-minded people, pera ang tumatakbo sa utak natin. It's all about the money. It's all about the cash, profits, lahat. Financial stability, literacy, yan yung mga tumatakbo sa isip natin every time we tend to build or formulate a business. Pero, of course, as to be an enthusiast of the business world or business industry, it's very important for us to consider our colleagues. Syempre, ang pagtayo ng businesses hindi lang para sa sarili natin. It's for the other people. It's for the pleasure of other people as well. Hindi lang sa pag-provide ng products and mediums na magagamit nila based sa mga kanilang feedbacks, kanilang demands, desires, wants. Hindi lang because of that. Of course, part na yun. Pero, of course, yung mga living status ng mga tao. Of course, building the business, we can help these unemployed individuals. And with that, makakatulong tayo na mabawasan ang rate ng economic difficulty natin, especially targeting the unemployment rate that we are just traversing in the Philippines. Not just in the Philippines, actually in the whole world. But, since Philippines is a third country, it's one of the most controversial issue na meron ang Philippines hanggang ngayon, or very engraved na yung issue sa Philippines. Hindi talaga siya matanggal-tanggal ang unemployment rate, and because the government sucks as well. So yan yung ina-explain or pinoportray na meron ang change agents. So right now, we are going to hear the voice of the next reporters. So thank you so much for listening to my part.
So now let us move to the next topic on how economic decisions are made. There are types of economics, which is the command economy, market economy, traditional economy, and mixed economy. So the first one is the command economy. In the command economy, the government determines what, how, and for whom products and services are produced. So the example for the command economy is the North Korea. The government of the North Korea controls and make decisions about what, how, and for whom to produce. So the next one is the market economy. Market economies are about personal choices. In the market economy, individuals and businesses decided what, how, and for whom goods and services are produced. For the example of market economy is the United States. Individuals and businesses make decisions based on supply and demand in a free market. Prices are determined by competition, and there is a limited government intervention. The next one is the traditional economy. In the traditional economy, goods and services are produced by the way they have always been produced. For the example of the traditional economy are the indigenous communities in some parts of Africa or Asia. So economic decisions are based on customs, traditions, and rituals passed down through generations. Like barter and substance farming are common. The last one is the mixed economy. when demands of the command and market economies are combined. It is called the mixed economy. The example of mixed economy is Canada. It combines elements of both command and market economies. There is private enterprises, but the government also plays roles in the areas such as healthcare, education, and social welfare. So the next is the US economic system. So there is a capitalism, which is the private ownership of resources by individuals rather than by the government. Is another name for economic system in the United States. US economic system is based on the four basic principles. The first one is the private property, the freedom of choice, profit, and the last one is competition. So, private property, as a US citizen, you can own, use, or dispose of things of value. You are free to own anything you want and you can decide what to do with it as long as you operate within the law. The next one is the freedom of choice. You can also make decisions independently and must accept the consequences of those decisions. So the next one is the profit. The difference between the revenues taken by businesses and cost of the operating of the business is called profit. The last one is the competition. The rivalry among businesses to sell their goods and services is called competition. So the next one is the economic choice. Economic decision making is the process of choosing which needs and wants among several you will satisfy using the resource you have. So there are two factors commonly enter into economic decision making. So the first one is the scarcity and the next one is the opportunity cost. So scarcity occurs when people needs and wants are unlimited and the resources to produce the goods and services to meet those needs and wants are limited. So for example, is the limited availability of fresh water in a certain regions. As the demand for water increases due to the population growth and the industrial use, the scarce resource become more valuable, leading to competition for its use and potential challenges in meeting everyone's needs. So while the opportunity cost is the value of the next best alternative, the one you pass up. So for example, is that you spend your evening studying for an exam instead of going to a social event. So the opportunity cost in that scenario is the enjoyment and the social interaction because by prioritizing academic over socializing. So the next one is the function of business. So there are four: the production, the marketing, the management, and the finance. So production. The primary reason a business exists in the market economy is to provide or service to consumers and to earn profit. The next is the marketing. All businesses in a market economy need to complete marketing activities in order to make their products and services available to the consumers. So these activities make up the marketing mix, which includes product distribution, price, and promotion. The next is the management. It is necessary for all businesses in the market economy to spend a great deal of time developing, implementing, and evaluating plans and activities. And the last one is the finance. One of the first responsibilities of finance is to determine the amount of the capital needed for the business and how the capital will be obtained. The finance function also planning and managing the financial records of the businesses.
What affects the price? Supply refers to the amount of particular product or service that available in the market. Ito yung tulad ng kung gaano karaming mga item ang nasa stock sa isang tindahan. Kapag mataas ang supply, maraming available na stock or product. But kapag mababa yung supply, maaring mahirap hanapin or baka tumaas yung presyo. For example na lang, mga limited edition. Like, isang product na limited edition, tapos maraming may gusto, ganun. Siyempre, tama. Yung dating uso ngayon yung Samba, yung sapatos na Adidas. Maraming may gusto, so mataas yung price. Kapag na nalaos na, parang na phase out na ba, like magbaba na yung price, katulad na lang sa mga iPhone. Kaya may bagong product, tapos magbaba na naman kasi may bagong ilalabas na naman na mas maganda, like iPhone 14, tapos may nagbaba na naman yung price nung 14 kasi maglalabas naman ng 15, ganun. So, ang demand naman is all about how much people want to desire a certain product or service. It's like how many people asking for something at the store. Kapag ang demand is high, it means maraming customer ang may gusto. At saka, ma-drive up niya yung price at mahirap siya hanapin. But kapag ang demand is low, it means yung ibang tao or ibang customer, hindi sila interesado sa product. So, prices might be go down and there might be plenty of available. It's all about the balance between supplies and demand. Demand elasticity is the way to measure how responsive the demand for a product or service to change in its price. Kapag ang demand elastic, it means even the small in the price can have a big impact on the demand or quality demand. Yes. For example, if the price is luxury item goes up, people might be less willing to buy. But if the demand is inelastic, it means that changes in price have less an effect on the quantity and demand. For example, if the price of necessity like food goes up, people still magbili pa rin sila. Like, willing pa rin sila magbili. Kasi, regardless of the price lang. So, elasticity help us to understand how sensitive people are sa mga prices. While sa elastic demand refers to the situation where quantity demand of the product or service is highly responsive to change in its price. In other words, when the price a product goes up, the demand for decreases significantly, and when the price goes down, the demand increases a lot. This means the consumer is very sensitive to change in the price and are more likely adjust their purchasing behavior accordingly. Elastic demand is often seen non-essential or luxury items where consumers have more flexibility in their purchasing decision. While sa inelastic naman is refers to a situation where the quantity demands of product or service is not very responsive to change its price. This means that even the price goes up, the demand for a product doesn't decrease much. And if the price goes down, the demand doesn't increase by a lot. Inelastic demand is often seen for essential goods or service that people need regardless of the price, like basic groceries or medication. People are less likely to change their purchasing behavior based on the price change when the demand is inelastic. So, equilibrium price and quantity refers to the point where the supplies and demand for a product or service are perfectly balanced. It's like when a number of people who wants to buy something matches the number of items available. At this point, there's no shortage or surplus. The equilibrium price is the price at which the quantity demand equals to the quantity supplied. It's the price that both buyers and sellers agree on. The equilibrium quantity is the quantity of the product service that is bought and sold the equilibrium price. Fixed cost. Ito na yung mga cost ng isang business na ginagamit niya man or hindi, mag-i-incur pa rin yan. Example, rent expenses. Fixed cost na yan kasi di mo magamit yung rent mo, kailangan mo mabayaran yan. Ang variable cost naman, nakadepende siya sa na-produce mo. Example, yung cost ng product, hindi talaga siya always stable. Kadalasan, nag-iiba-iba ang cost niya. Kunwari, 500 units ang nagawa mo for this month. And ang cost nun, lahat-lahat is nasa 10,000. Bali, ang cost nun is nasa 10,000 pesos. Divide 500 units. Then, ang cost niya is nasa 20 pesos each product. So, for example naman, next month, ang na-produce mo is 400 units. Tapos, same pa rin ang nagastos mo, 10K pa rin. So, 10K divide 400 is equal to 25 pesos. So, nakadepende talaga ang cost sa units na na-produce. So, another example na naman is kuryente. Nakadepende lang yung babayaran natin sa kuryente kung ano yung nagamit or na-consume natin. Ang marginal benefits naman, ito yung mga advantages ng makukuha pag nag-produce ka ng mas maraming units. Ang marginal cost naman is mga disadvantage mo pag nag-i-incur ka ng additional units. For example, nag-add ka ng 5K para sa makaproduce ka ng 55 units. Yung 5K na yon, marginal cost mo yon.
So that concludes the whole sphere of discussion of the whole chronicle of the chapter 2 entitled Entrepreneurship in a Market Economy. I wish we made things clear out of our vocal of knowledge and forces of inducement. Again, I want you to stay ahead and thank you so much.